Hello everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on June 16th, 2014. And, this show in general had a mix of, some good segments in it and some really bad ones. Just going off straight to the point. The opening segment with the Authority coming out there, and all the superstars were in the ring, and basically they were supposed to make some kind of big announcement, and it was pretty much, we're going to have a stretcher match and a battle royal to determine the last two spots in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So basically they call out all the superstars to announce that. Okay, whoop-de-doo. They could have just been out there, made that announcement, made the stretcher match with Kane and John Cena and the Battle Royal, and not actually have the other superstars out there. It really wasn't needed. It was just useless for what they did. It added nothing to it in any way, shape, or form. Though and that was just like one of the little bad segments that I actually thought in there. They had some really good matches with some bad, somewhat of bad finishes. They worked for the purposes of the storylines, because it looks like they're going to have, at least in the one-on-one situations, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins going at each other first before maybe Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, or however they're going to continue this breakup of the Shield type deal. And it's nice to see that they are fully branching off Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns away from each other. Obviously, Dean Ambrose going after Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns will probably go in there at some point in time himself as well. But you had the match with Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. We've seen this one a couple times over the last few weeks, and honestly, again, a really good match. I liked that this is basically the starting point for Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins for right then and there, with him interfering in the match right afterwards. And then subsequently, when he challenges Seth Rollins, he gets Bad News Barrett instead, which actually was also another really good match. And it actually worked for the aspect. I don't like to see DQ and count out finishes, but for the storyline purposes, this works in this case, because it's starting this pathway for these two to eventually lead into their match. And that after that, they continue this whole DQ type trend with Sheamus and Wade Barrett. Obviously, they didn't want one of them to go over the other at this point for whatever reason. I would have probably chose Bray Wyatt to go over here, because he is the up-and-coming star. Sheamus is more established and wouldn't be hurt by having a loss over the over Bray Wyatt at this point. And the promo that Bray Wyatt threw out there right off the get-go was a great one, talking about what the power and everything meant about winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And also getting over the aspect that Harper and Rowan were going to have a tag team title match at the pay-per-view as well. So they did a good job of incorporating both those matches in there. And then, of course, having the Usos out there as well was a nice little touch. Didn't like the aspect behind the DQ finish for that one, though. And this leads into the segments with Roman Reigns and Vicky Guerrero. Obviously, they're doing the aspect that Vicky Guerrero is just a lapdog to the Authority, or Triple H and Stephanie in this case. She was out getting him coffee, and that led to, ran into Roman Reigns, which he was trying to get himself into the Battle Royal, coaxing Vicky Guerrero to find a way to get him in that match, and then ended out spiking one of the drinks, which Stephanie ended out drinking. Honestly, these segments were very effective and actually fairly entertaining until you got to the point that you have Stephanie sick inside the office, and they decided to have her do the projectile vomit on Vicky Guerrero. I don't like these kind of segments. I wish they would have just had an aspect. It's like, Triple H needs to get Stephanie off to a doctor at this point. Okay, I guess they're trying to make it seem like she's getting angry and was going to do something to spite the authority. They could have just had Triple H insult her or something as he was leaving, which would have made her angry enough to put Roman Reigns into the Battle Royal, instead of doing this stupid looking projectile, completely looking fake projectile vomit onto Vicky Guerrero. It was just a bad segment. Other than that, though, those segments really worked out well and were effective towards, Roman Reigns showing a different side. It's like, oh, he's not just some meathead. He's actually, trying to outsmart the authority in there. Outside that one little portion of it, it was actually really good. But, they ended it really poorly. With the Battle Royal, again, another really good match. And again, it's a Battle Royal, so you kind of get the typical deal with how that's supposed to go, and they're usually enjoyable to watch, which this one was. But other than that, I did like the Cena and Kane stretcher match as well. It was actually a fairly entertaining match, and that was actually, built up throughout the show, and I thought they did a good job with that one as well. But other than that, everything else seemed like a complete type of throwaway to the entire show. And it didn't really do much to build over the pay-per-view. The segment with Kevin Hart and Adam Rose, I did not really like. It didn't seem like it needed to be in there in any way, shape, or form. With the whole Layla versus Summer Rae storyline, you don't even know who the face is in that one, because, obviously Layla's a heel with Fandango, but the attitude of Summer Rae on camera comes off as a complete heel. She cannot play a face. In my mind, she cannot play a face character. She's only known how to play a heel, and it's not working in any way, shape, or form. And obviously they're trying to do some kind of deal with the Funkadactyls, maybe potentially breaking up in there, with how Naomi was looking at Cameron after her match with Paige. Okay, that's a little something, but nothing really all that much. The only thing that I truly found completely weird, and I'm not sure if I liked it or didn't like it, was Cody Rhodes coming out as Stardust. I get where they're going there. The change in persona, the change in look, the change in this is trying to get Cody Rhodes off of this losing side, which is obviously what they did here with having them beat Ryback this week. But I'm going to let that one play out, because I don't know whether I like it or if I hate it at this point in time. So we'll see where that goes. Like I said, this week's Raw, it felt a little bit disappointing in certain areas. It was actually really good in other areas. I thought a lot of the matches were fairly entertaining and fun to watch. Don't really like the aspect behind so many DQ finishes at this point, but it is what it is. And with two of them there, it was at least a building of a storyline for a potential match down the road, whether it be on Raw or pay-per-view or something else with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. So, overall, decent show. It's ups, it's downs, but nothing overly bad, nothing overly crazy good. I like the reactions to the end of the Battle Royal with Seth Rollins, or not Seth Rollins, but because they didn't even put Seth Rollins in the Battle Royal. That one I found weird as well. But with Roman Reigns and Rusev at the end of the match, I like the reactions at that point. Overall, like I said before, it was a pretty decent show, but nothing too spectacularly good. And that's my review for Monday Night Raw this week, and I thank you for watching.